All right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at GMS. Peace, honor, and respect to you brothers that's out there laboring, edifying, rally divine the word in truth and sincerity. And Shalom to you believers out there, the Akim Ma'akwath. And so, I was watching this video, all right, that some of the Houston brothers from GMS had, I was watching their lesson and they linked this video and I was watching it. But, this video is a whole lesson in itself. But what happened was when I started watching the video, it was something that Glenn Beck said and it prompted me to do a lesson, all right? And Lord willing is edifying. I'm gonna play a little portion of the video and then I'm gonna get into the scripts. So here we go.
But it's coming. And here's what's coming. Change. That's it. Change. Everything in life changes. We're under constant change. The America that was 100 years ago has changed so many times. The people, I think if we had a time machine, people from 100 years ago would come here and they would say, I don't want to live there. And we would go back to their time and say, I really don't want to live back here. We're all born for a specific time, and now is our time. And change is coming. Now, this is...
And that's what made me think about 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter. All right, he said, let's go back.
I would say, I really don't want to live back here. We're all born for a specific time, and now is our time. And
he's correct. All right. And 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, kind of go into it. We're born for a specific time, and this is our time. And change is coming. That's another thing. And what make things change? Time. Okay? Because, as a male, when you were 9 years old, you didn't have a mustache. But eventually, you grew a mustache because of what? Time. All right? You was 9, then you was 19, 29, 39, etc. All right? Your change is basically predicated off time. All right? Because if someone's 9 years old and they die at 10, well, their voice is never going to change to get deeper. Their facial features is never going to change. You're never going to get that mustache or that beard. You're never going to have a manly body. Your body is not going to change because of the time. You didn't have the time. All right? And the thing about it, just like, if you take the women of today, let's take a Little Kim or Nicki Minaj, Glorilla, or even, Tupac, Moneybagg Yo, whoever, and you put them in 1932, well, people will marvel, Women will be like, wow, that girl, she got tattoos, and, they will marvel. Just like if you bring the people from 1932 here, we would marvel at how they dress, how they act, all right? And the Lord, he made everything beautiful in his time, all right? And change is coming. And I want to go to 2nd Esdras. This is 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, just to show you, brothers and sisters. In the GNT, I'm going to be reading a lot of 2nd Esdras in the GNT. All right? And change is coming. The life as we know it will change. Another thing that's changing is kingdoms. All right? Because what? Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? So even that's going to change to where you see the so-called Negro, Latino, Native down at the bottom, and the so-called white, men and women at the top. That's going to change, all right? So 2nd Esdras 5 and 41 in the GNT, it says, then I said, but Lord, power, your concern is with the people who will be alive at the end of the world. And you notice, Ezra was concerned about the end, even the disciples about the end. All right. They wanted that change, the change from the Israelites being at a lower state. All right. To get that kingdom, to get those promises, man. They wanted that change, just like we do. All right. It says, but Lord, power, your concern is with the people who will be alive at the end of the world. All right. What will happen to those who will live before that? What about us? What about those who came before us and those who will live after us? And he answered me, the final judgment can be compared to a circle. And just as a circle has no beginning nor end, so those who come early will not be too early, and those who come late will not be too late. All right. Everything is going to fit in its right time. All right. If you was born September 1976, you were born at the right time, no matter what you feel or think about it. Verse 43, I replied, but couldn't you have created all human beings, those of the past, the present, and the future, so that they would all, I guess supposed to say will all be alive, so they were all alive at the same time? In that way, you could have had your final judgment sooner. So you see Ezra, he's hastening for this judgment. He's hastening for the kingdom of heaven. All right, because he knows about the promises, man. Just like right now, when we came into this ministry, now we hastening for this age to be over. All right. Verse 44, he answered, the creation cannot move faster than the creator. And besides, the world wouldn't have been able to hold all the people if everyone had been created at the same time. Why then, I asked, did you just now tell me that one day you will bring back to life at the same time every creature that ever lived? If the world can hold them all then, it can hold them now. And this, you have reincarnation because we lived before. All right. And that's another reason why everybody wasn't going to be born at the same time, because you come back after 3-4 generations. Verse 46, he answered, that would be like asking a woman who has given birth to 10 children why she didn't have them all at once, instead of one at a time. That would be impossible, I answered. She can't have them all at once. In the same way, he continued, I have made the world like a womb so that it produces human beings at regular intervals, right? So everything had its time. Marilyn Monroe, when she was born for her time. She was the beauty of her time. She wasn't meant to be in 2012. All right. Flat screen TVs wasn't meant to be watched in 1912. Okay. Missiles, ICBMs wasn't meant to be created in 1642. See, everything has its time. Now, relating to humans, the generation right now wasn't meant to be in the past, just like the past wasn't meant to be now. All right. So now moving on, let's go here to, I'll read it on. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1, to everything there is a season, all right, and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, right? And the Lord right now is planting the elect. He's doing that by his word. We had that seed planted from the word, all right? He's planting in us that word, but he's plucking up Esau's kingdom at the same time. Verse 3, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. So while this kingdom is being broken down, our kingdom is being built up, and not in the sense where we see, streets of gold being worked on and things. No, we getting built up in this word. That's still a build up. Verse 4, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, right? All right, and you can use these sayings in your everyday life, man. All right, and we all know it's a time to do certain things. All right, verse 6: a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away. And the thing about everything that's being said in Ecclesiastes 3 right here is change. All right, because when it's a time to get something, all right, okay, I'm about to go to the store. Or when Esau, it was a time for him to come into power, right? To get everything, to get his rulership. All right. But what's gonna be the change? Him losing things. All right. A time to lose. All right. A time to keep and a time to cast away, right? A time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, right? It was a time where the Lord was keeping silent. How was he doing that? Because we didn't have this knowledge in its purest form, all right? But what changed? Now it's the time to speak. And now that's why you see brothers speaking on these video epistles, speaking out on the streets, all right? Speaking his word in its purest form. Now is the time, okay? A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. See? So everything has a time. And when you go to verse 11, what do it say? It says, he have made everything beautiful in his time, right? Everything, you know what I'm saying? Whatever was going on in the 1940s, whatever the style was, whatever people was doing, that was made for that time, okay? The style of 1940 wasn't the style of 1990, all right? Also, he has set the world in their heart so that no man can find out the work that the Most High maketh from the beginning to the end, all right? So the point in that was what? Everything was made beautiful in his time, all right? Everything, all right? So now, and the thing about time, it changes things. Like he said, change is coming, right? All right, we're not always going to be in Esau's rulership, no matter what vain opinions they have, no matter what you people out there think, all right? This world as we know it is not just going to continue on to where 7, 8, 9, 10 generations down the line, brothers, great grandkids is teaching the word. That's not going to happen. It's going to be a time where we're going to be in our rulership. We're going to be in a kingdom. It's going to be a time where this word is going to not even be, you're not going to be able to get this word. The famine of the word is going to happen. It's going to be a time where World War III happens. It's going to be a time of the famine, and everything that we read and learned in the scriptures is going to happen, man. All right. And we're at the end. And how do we know we're at the end? All right. Let's go here. Matthew the 24th chapter, because just like Ezra, all right, the disciples wanted to know about the end. Matthew 24:3. And as he has set upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And that don't mean the world blowing up. That mean the end of this age, the end of this rulership, the end of this kingdom. All right. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me do this. 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. This is Ezra. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? This is the same thing that the disciples is asking, just in a different manner. Verse 8, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob, okay, the Israelites, hand held first the heel of Esau. See? And we're in Esau's time right now. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right. And somebody might ask, well, how do you know that we're at the end? Well, let's keep reading. Matthew 24. All right, the disciples asked him. Matthew 24 at verse 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. All right, that's a sign. It's going to be all these false teachers. You even do got weirdos that say they is so-called, that, oh, I'm Jesus, which we know his name is Yahushua. All right, but you have people that actually does this. All right, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Are we not hearing of wars and rumors of wars? All right. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And we're seeing that. All you have to do is look at what's going on in the news. All right. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, right? And it was just a big earthquake in, what was that, Morocco? All right, before that you had what, Turkey, Syria, all right? Earthquakes are really happening all the time, all right? Ain't we dealing with the pestilence, the C19, all right, for an example? All right, then you have many like variations of that, okay? And other things that's just plaguing the earth, okay? These are what? The signs of Yahushua coming and of the end of the world. The end of that. And that's how you know we at the end, man. But these are the signs of the end of the world, meaning the end of Esau's age, the end of this age. All right. Verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Right now, we're in the beginning of sorrows. Okay, these are the signs. Look at the news. Look at your everyday life. You can tell we're at the end. All right, let's go here. Let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 3. Let me get this highlight off. All right, difficult times will come. 2 Timothy 3 and verse 1. This know also that in the last days, see, perilous times shall come. All right. Let's go into that time. Let's go into that word real quick. Perilous. All right. Let's see where we at.
Strong's G 5467. Chalipas. Chalipas.
Chalipas. Hard to do. To take, to approach, hard to bear, troublesome, dangerous, harsh, fierce, savage time. We are in those times. All right. You got smash and grabs. All right. You have you even got Esau got 20 minutes of TikTok complaining. All right. It's articles, it's news clippings, it's social media. It's a bevy of people complaining about how the inflation, okay, rent. Okay. People getting murked all the time. All of these things. We're in dangerous times. Nobody can deny that. We're in savage times. All right. You even in the rap community, you have people like 21 Savage, people that say I'm a savage. All right. In their songs. All right. These are the times that we're in. This is how we know it's the end. Verse 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. All right. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of the Most High. See, these are the things that on your day-to-day life you deal with, brothers and sisters. I guarantee. Look how people are really high-minded on social media, beginning with the women. Okay, look how everybody is in that state. Okay, without natural affection. Okay? People are way different how they was even in the 70s or 60s. When you look at the 70s, you know, they had a lot of songs about love, a lot of songs for couples. Now, you hear the women, they say what? Fuck niggas, I don't need a man. And the women like, fuck bitches, I don't need y'all. We got a lot of that. It's always been there, but it's just metastasized. All right? False accusers. All right? All of that. Boasters. What do people do all day on social media? They boast. They act proud. All right? This is what we're seeing, what? In the last days. All right, verse 5, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. All right, so these are some of the tokens and signs of what our Lord, Yahushua, said in Matthew 24, and also, you know, in St. Timothy. All right, he said, no, in the last days, perilous times shall come. And he went down a list. And I guarantee you, all you brothers and sisters, all right, can attest to this. Let's go to verse 6. For of the sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts. See? And what do you have? A bunch of silly women right now dealing with Pookie and Ray Ray. Then they complain about what's going on with men. Verse 7, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Right. And if you look at the state of our women, not just our women, but our men, but pertaining to this verse, if you look at the state of our women, look at them, man. They're whorish, they're silly, they're mouthy, they think they know everything, but guess what? They know nothing, man. All right? Ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth, man. Okay, so now let's go here. Let's go to 2nd Esdras. The 16th chapter. And I'm going to start at 18. Because remember, in Matthew 24, let's go back there for a brief moment. In Matthew 24 and verse 8, when we went through, you know, when Yahushua was letting them know the signs of the end of the world and it's coming. Well, at the end in verse 8, he said, all these are the beginning of sorrows, right? So now, when you go to 2nd Esdras, this is Ezra again, 16, starting at verse 18, what do it say? It says, matter of fact, let me do this. Then I might get in the GMT. It says, verse 18, the beginning of sorrow, see, and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. All right. And this is going into the end more. All right. The beginning of sorrows, where we at? In great mournings. People is mourning all over. You got Esau Esau can't stop mourning. All right. The beginning of famine. Okay. You see these food prices hiked up, the inflation on the food, in particular the meat. All right. People losing their jobs, that no money contribute to famine. All right. You see the Bill Gates, I don't even want to say his name, BG, buying up all his farmland. Okay. Destroying all of the cattle, things of that nature. The food is just defiled. All right. All of these things is going to contribute to the famine, man. All right. And great death. All right. The flood in Libya, they was talking about like 20,000. All right. The flood where earthquakes where thousands of people die. And it's going to ramp up. The beginning of wars. What's the hot topic of war? World War III. All right. Meanwhile, you have a war between Ukraine and Russia going on right now. Okay. And the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. And that's the condition of the 2/3 and the rest of these nations, man. Okay. With all these things going on, People not mindful. Okay? Let's get that in the GNT. Troubles will come and many people will groan. Famine will come and many people will die. Wars will come and the world powers will tremble. Disasters will come and everyone will be terrified. What will people do when these disasters come? Famine, epidemics, that's what we're going through, troubles, and suffering are sent to punish and correct the people. So all this is sent to change us. See? The Lord wants change, and he's going to get change. But in spite of all of this, they will not turn away from their sins. They soon forget their punishment, right? So that what that's saying is some people ain't going to change, all right? But the Lord is ultimately going to get what he wants. And he want a certain amount of people to change, which are the elect, and he want a certain amount of people to not change. And that's the 2/3 and a lot of the rest of the nations. All right. This is where we at with it. All right. And the reason why, you at the end again is because these things that I'm reading off. And this is why when we go back to Matthew 24, going to 32, all right, being at the end, the parable of the fig tree. Matthew 24 and 32. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branches yet tender and put forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. Right. So if you was walking past, an apple tree, and I had a home that had an apple tree in the backyard. Okay. When those apples are ripe, okay, you want to pick them. You're not going to see the apple and it's not ripe and you go at it. No. When that apple is ripe, you're gonna be compelled to pick it. And guess what? If you don't, eventually it's gonna fall. All right. Eventually the apple's gonna fall. And trust me, I had apples that fell on the grass and I cut the grass and you could smell the apples. It smells so great. But the thing about it is, learn the parable from the fig tree. When his branches yet tender, he putteth forth his leaves, you know that summer is nigh. So likewise, when ye shall see all these things, when you see the pestilences, when you see the wars and rumors of wars, all right, when you see the earthquakes in diverse places, all right, when you see the perilous times, when you see people being boasters, proud, high-minded, all right, all of these things that we went through, all right, know that it is near. What is near? The end. Even at the doors. It's at the doors. Bang. It's banging. All you got to do is be paying attention. When you turn on your news, with everyday life, when you see it, you know that the end is near, man. All right. So, Lord willing, this was edifying. To the next lesson. Shalom.